Alright fellas, I'm going to share with y'all my fortunate experience, and I'll say fortunate because not all y'all are going to get this lucky. Unfortunately, that really sucks because all in all, you might get lucky. I've seen videos where a guy was using a JB weld on an Allen wrench and he lined it with electrical tape so it wouldn't shift, and he got it out that way. If you can't get it out through the top, you might have to pull your engine. This really sucks. This RZR is, I haven't had it over a year and a half. I'm a mechanic naturally. I do this stuff all the time on our farm equipment, but this thing maybe has 3 or 4 oil changes. The last guy did not take care of it. It was dusted. I just did a top end rebuild. The cylinders were scored from the piston rings, I'm assuming lining up. I'm still not sure. To save us some time and more talking, that's that right there. Maybe if you can see it or not, but there are lines in that. There are lines. There you go. So yeah, super healthy, lovely. Pinstripes in your cylinder wall is an awesome accessory that everybody should have at least once in a lifetime. Okay, and you're gonna see the oil on the floor. This on a 2012. I'm not gonna speak to very many other years because I know Polaris likes to change stuff every other day. This is my 2012 800S. I know that there are some that are similar, and you might be able to get away with doing this the same way I did. And what I did was I started this up, took it down the road, ran it for probably 15 minutes. I let it idle for about 10, and then I drove it back in the garage, immediately shut it off, did not give it time to cool off, immediately pulled the bolt out, took off the washer, and you're going to want, God, what did I pull that spring out with? I pulled the spring out with a screw. And don't be concerned. If you drop the screw, you'll get it back because it's going to bottom out on top of the plunger, which is down there in the center. Went back into the RZR, started it up, and went about half throttle 2 times. The first time I got this spill, second time I got that spill, and then the piece was laying right there. So, and that was, I covered it up with a rag. I would not suggest doing this without something to catch or deflect that part. I'm not really sure how much oil pressure this thing has, but I'm sure that if you're not doing this in a contained environment, that thing will shoot off. I did it when I rebuilt my top end. I would advise anybody, especially if you're doing bottom end work, go ahead and do it. If you're not and you're just doing preventative, which is like why I'm posting this video, that's what you need to do. I have not figured out what I am going to replace this with. There's a video online from D-Ray. He suggests 2 5/16 ball bearings. There is a part on eBay that is literally all this stupid crap that a Polaris engineer just shoved in a hole. It's all put together into one assembly. So bolt, spring, plunger, washer, all of that is in the same assembly. Goes right in there. I don't know that I'm going to use that because it's cheap. It's like 35 bucks. So, and it's probably made in China. The steel is probably very cheap, but it's not a high wear part. It's not like it's, you know, taking a huge load. But just so you guys know, I've found a bunch of videos, but they're all on Sportsman's. And I think I found one on a Ranger, which is technically the same thing. But this, you know, hopefully will help some guys figure out, you know, that is what you're looking for. Hopefully it comes out for you. I'm going to say that if it doesn't, there's numerous different things to try. if you're mechanically inclined. I am not going to tell you any of the things that people use because I don't want you to come back to me and say that I told you to do something that you should not have done. So first thing to do, and I'm talking rev it twice and then shut it off immediately. You do not want to lose a ton of oil in this thing. And that's just technically a bypass valve, so you don't shred your freaking filter. So honestly, it's not going to do too much, but you definitely don't want to dick around with it. Just 2 pops. If it does come out, awesome. If it doesn't, maybe add more oil and try again. But you definitely want to get this thing warm. I was sitting at 202 degrees when I got that off. And like I said, I just did a fresh rebuild, so it probably honestly helped that I had good compression. I've heard guys talk about if it is messed up and it's causing issues already, then it won't work because the engine will have no compression to this chamber. But this is what a lot of guys are showing on these videos that I have found, is you can see the wear marks right there. And what happens is if you get a nasty piece of debris, which I'm honestly shocked that I didn't have with the top end needing redone, it'll get in between this plunger and the case sidewall, and it will actually stick that plunger. So hopefully this helps somebody out. I could have used this video, so that's, like I said, that's why I'm making this video, because it wasn't specifically on a razor. Everything that I have read online, if this does not come out and none of these, other few things that people have figured out how to do work for you, you are probably going to have to pull your engine, because you have to take this entire case off back here. This whole thing's got to come off, and you cannot pull that off. There's no clearance. You might be able to get away with just taking this off. Maybe. I don't know how this is all set up. I have never been in an RZR or Ranger case before. You might be able to get away with pulling this plate off, but I doubt it. So just hopefully that helps you guys out in the future. And like I said, I highly, highly, highly recommend doing this. Even if you just bought, a used RZR and the guy swears he did it, double check his work, honestly, because this guy said that it didn't burn any oil and it seemed fine when we got it home. All of a sudden I'm losing, a tablespoon of oil a day, and it's very light running. So definitely one of the first things you should check, because that can cause serious issues like new engine issues. The worst case scenario I've heard is it'll literally send your rods home, like bad, burn things up, shred your filter. That would be a best case scenario, because that would be like a stop sign saying, hey, this is going bad. So hopefully you guys get lucky like I did and you can get all this crap out. Good luck, boys.